Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this February 18th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. We're glad that you're here with us this morning. And if you go to EOA.network, that takes you to a link tree where you can find all of our content, where all of the streams happen, YouTube, Facebook, our Roku channel, the web, so on and so forth. And then all of this also ends up on Spotify and the other podcast networks after the fact. So here this morning we have two guests with us. Our first guest is going to be Union County Commissioner Paul Anderes, and then our second guest is going to be EOU's theater professor Kenn will be here talking to us about the upcoming production Fiddler on the Roof. So, hey, how are you?
Oh, the other thing you can do is when that QR code's up on the screen, you can scan that and it'll take you right to EOA.network. I'm good. It's second Monday.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like what's going on outside. Not one bit.
Well, it's kind of slushy right now.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We had a busy weekend. Did you see the protesters yesterday?
I saw the pictures of the protesters.
Yeah,
yesterday.
there was a bunch of protesters down. I guess they did that at the Capitol too.
Well, it's a nationwide movement.
Yeah, like not our President's Day or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well, I think they just took the opportunity to use that particular day, but they're planning on doing it once a month.
Yeah, that's
and
their
that
right.
was like, I think they called it the 50-51 movement, but I have no idea what the number.
I don't know either.
How that's associated.
As long as they're being safe and not doing anything stupid, I'm all for it. Go do your thing. You're right. I mean, that's how this country is.
Yep.
Don't hurt anybody, and be somewhat, civil.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go out there in 30 degrees and stand out there. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, they'll probably have more participation as it gets warmer.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
I mean, I'm not doing much outside.
Yeah, I guess for me, cold. And it's not just them, but it's just like the effect of complaining about some national issue locally is just, it seems fruitless. I mean, that's not something and it doesn't matter what it is, but
that's what's great about this country. It might not be fruitless to somebody else, so they can do it. They can do it if they want to,
No, but I mean just the practice of it making a difference. I mean, people in LeGrand complaining about something at the national level is like, yeah. Your voice is heard locally, and maybe that's the point.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe to them it's super important, and they want to be out there.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know what I mean? It could be like it could be any issue. Some people just have like it in their heart to, not me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not how I would do it myself. But everybody's allowed to do it their own way.
No, hey, so if you were one of those people that was out there, comment, help us. Let us
understand.
Let us know what you were trying to say. So
I saw the only thing I really saw was I think it was and I try not to look at this because I don't want my views skewed either way, but I think it was a right-wing post on Facebook, and it was a video. I saw some of the posters that people had, and I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Like, as long as you're not hurting anybody, do your thing.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit. The overbuilt and over-the-top Mini Max captures the engineering, unmatched power, and the extreme durability that defines Traxxas Max performance. Mini Max is the perfect take-anywhere size, delivering 30-plus miles an hour with brushless speed and legendary max toughness. It slides easily into your backpack. This is an RC car that'll fit in your backpack that goes 30 miles an hour. 411 First Street in LeGrand, Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it. LHS girls basketball locked up the regular season GOL title with a 59-35 win in Pendleton. The girls split with Baker this season, but end up the number 1 seed because of the tiebreaker. They will tentatively host Baker on the 24th for the GOL Tournament Championship. I don't have a time on that yet. Thanks to Susie Coleman for those wonderful pictures. Boys basketball beat Pendleton on Friday night as well, 67-64 to split the season series with Pendleton this year. That concluded their GOL season, and I'm not sure if they have I don't think, but every year it seems to change. They might have a play-in game. I don't know. LHS Swimming held their district meet, and a bunch of Tigers qualified for state and will swim this weekend at the Tualatin Hills Aquatic Center. For a full list of qualifiers, check out the post on social media on our Facebook page or on our Instagram. Thank you to the LHS Swim Team Facebook page for the pictures. This weekend, LHS Girls Wrestling qualified 11 girls for state on their way to the OSAA 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A Special District 3 title. LeGrand had 2 individual champions, Lindy Isaacson at 120 pounds and Paige Allen at 145. For all the other placers, check out the post on Facebook. You can just look for girls wrestling pictures, and that will, right there, it lists all the placers from LeGrand and all the scores for every team. This Saturday, the LHS boys wrestling team will host the 4A Special District 4 Championships. We will be live streaming the finals right here on the EOA network. It will likely look like it did this weekend, I would imagine. It's only Saturday for the boys because there's way less teams. They can get it all done in one day. I'll get up there and hopefully just start the stream during like the consolations or the true fourths, and then once the finals start, I'll get on and talk to you guys. EOU men's basketball split this weekend while the women won both of their games on the Portland trip versus Multnomah and Warner Pacific. EOU track and field had their final indoor meet of the season. Adrienne Washington broke the school record and hit an A standard on her way to earning the CCC Women's Field Athlete of the Week. EOU raked in awards this week. Max Richmond was named the Men's Track Athlete of the Week. Tyler Jones was named the Men's Field Athlete of the Week. And finally, Bree Holacek was named the CCC Women's Basketball Defensive Player of the Week. Next up for EOU Indoor Track Nationals at the end of the month in Gainesville, Florida. More on EOU Hoops on the Thursday show of AM Sports Show. I just blundered myself. Once again, this weekend we'll be live streaming the LHS Boys Special District 4 Wrestling Finals right here on the EOA Network. AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit. Go check out their Traxxas RC car selection just for the fun of it.
Good. Thanks, man. All right, well, let's look outside. And
oh, man.
There was actually sun a little bit yesterday.
I'm good with that.
Kind of mushy, yeah. But and then let's look at the weather graphic.
I was reading a thing on Facebook. Somebody was stuck just outside of town yesterday for like 3 hours. I guess the freeway was closed, like coming back from Pendleton.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Well, you can kind of see there what our forecast is.
Yeah. It's going to be rainy, some snow today. It looks like. Rain and snow tomorrow, and then it's the moisture is going to hold off until Saturday.
All right.
It's going to be warm. It's warming up. I'm all for the upward progression. Let's go. Let's get back up to about 80, 85.
Yeah. Yesterday, man, it was melting like crazy, and I was hoping that our roof was okay because we've had problems from time to time of it melting, but it looked like there was good flow.
As long as it doesn't freeze at night, that's when we run into, you know what I mean? That's when it gets gnarly after this, it starts slushing out and then freezing. Oh, that's miserable.
Well, this is the season.
Oh, I know.
Where it's going to do that over and over again. So, all right. Well, cool. Well, hey, glad that you guys are here with us, and we'll take a break, and Paul Anderes will be with us. We'll be right back. All right, we're back with Union County Commissioner Paul Anderes. How are you, man?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
Good. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's the new year? This is your first time here in the studio.
This year,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, the Oregon legislature is in full swing now, and the estimates are by the end of the month, which is the first deadline for Oregon legislature, there's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 4,000 bills dropped. And,
4,000?
yes, 4,000.
So, and how many bills reasonably get through every year?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I know personally I'm tracking probably 20 of them.
Yeah.
Either that I'm in strong support of or
Yeah.
or in opposition to.
Yeah.
Wait, so does one person have to read all those?
Well,
They read them by title only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Not the
and
whole.
it's what it's called is a relating to clause. So they say Bill 777 relating to wolf compensation effective, and then and they cruise. I mean, they move through them.
Yeah, that seems like it would take a really long time.
It does. Yep. And they take small chunks. Well, not relatively small chunks, and read each one.
so,
Oh,
but the 4,000 bills, that's at the very beginning of the process, right?
Correct.
I mean, yeah, and
Yep.
so they've got to get through committee and through all of, yeah.
Yeah, well, not all of them, but the normal process is they're introduced, the title is read on the floor, they're assigned a committee, and then the committee decides whether or not there's a hearing on it.
Okay.
And then once the hearing is held on it, they have a work session, and then after the work session, the committee votes to move it either to the floor or to another committee, usually to the floor.
Okay.
Sometimes, one of the things that's a little frustrating to me is, especially on bills that have anything to do with finance, you'll get the entire committee to say, yes, this is a great bill. It gets moved to Ways and Means, and it dies a slow, lingering death there. It's never sees the light of day again.
So, but why? Why would why
Because
does that happen?
at that when it goes to Ways and Means, which is really the finance arm of
The check writing.
exactly,
Okay.
check writers,
Yeah.
they can decide again what they're going to hear and what they're not going to hear. And a lot of them will just, if they don't deem are important or have enough support or enough broad-based support, they won't even look at them.
Okay.
Yeah, a little frustrating on that. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh great, oh it went to Ways and Means to die.
So does any?
Ways and Means, though, that is legislators, right?
Yeah,
That's actual, like,
Yep,
they're
yeah.
part of the.
Yeah, it's called Joint Ways and Means, and it's I believe, the largest committee they've got down there. It's got House and Senate and Republicans and Democrats.
Is
on
it split? Is it 50-50?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. So there is some
Because the
manipulation there.
controlling body gets more members.
Yeah,
right?
and both
Yeah.
of the co-chairs in the House side is Representative Sanchez,
Okay.
and then on the Senate side, new this year is Senator Lieber. It was, oh my gosh, I just drew a blank on her name.
The doc.
Yes,
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
now she's state treasurer.
Yes, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
my apologies. I
Yeah.
just drew a blank.
So, so then anything with money goes to Ways and Means, or is there any bill that doesn't include money? I mean,
Oh, there's bills that do not include money.
so
Yes.
if they don't include money,
They don't go to Ways and Means. Generally, they'll get that hearing will send them directly to the House or Senate floor.
okay.
Her name's Elizabeth Steiner.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am embarrassed.
I had to look it up because
She
I don't
is
know
not
nothing
going to be,
about
I hope she
politics.
doesn't see this. Yeah, state treasurer now.
Right,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
right.
And a great friend to Union County.
Right, I was going to say, yeah,
financially.
and just to give credit, I mean, she was very supportive of the hospital expansion. I mean, I don't know, you check off some of the boxes.
University,
Yeah.
sewer water project in Elgin, scholarships at the university,
Yeah.
a number of things.
Yeah,
We need to get her in on the bathrooms out at the fair.
Oh, she's
He
aware,
is
I'm
very
sure.
much in support of that. Yeah. So, and this summer, the new chair, Senator Lieber, came out and toured, and we were able to visit with her Commissioner Scarfo got her out here, and well, and Representative Levy and Senator, at that time, Senator-elect Nash, now Senator Nash. Which,
Yeah.
I just want that to get done so we can just stop. Like, it's been ongoing for so long. So
Yes,
let's just
yes,
get it over.
that is true.
Yeah,
So,
Matt has been a good squeaky wheel. That's
he has,
like
yep,
his-
and he was down last week.
Yeah.
And I know he made the rounds yet again, and unfortunately, a lot of time, the reaction he gets from legislators is, well, we financed that last time, didn't we? And
Yeah.
it's like, no, you didn't. And so it's really, his presence is known, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And really a strong advocate for our county.
Is that how to get things done? It's the only method we have right now, I would imagine.
Yes.
But
And yes, you need support, and you also need support from enough legislators that will put it on the docket, so that it is heard in front of
Yeah.
a committee.
so do you ever have a situation where the legislature, so something dies in Ways and Means, and then from the floor, somebody can say, or do they say, hey, how come that didn't, why didn't that come? I mean, does a legislature have the power to bring something up on the floor?
They do, but I don't know that it ever happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that would
Because,
be an
I
unpopular
mean, you've got
thing.
a
Right,
bicameral, bipartisan committee that's
Right.
making these decisions, and
Right.
I would suggest that at some point, everyone is disappointed in that particular committee because they didn't get whatever
Yeah.
they wanted financed.
right.
Yeah.
But
it's,
they
it's
don't-
like a referee.
Yeah, a little bit.
Both sides are going to be pissed at a referee throughough the game at least once.
Right, but I don't think that there's much public accountability there. I mean, the public actually knowing what happens there. I wouldn't know anything about it. I wouldn't
Right.
even know the committee existed until you just told us
Right,
right
and
here.
that's, it is frustrating because a lot of the conversations happen, I don't want to say behind closed doors, but, a lot of, there'll be things that they bring money to Union County and it's like, oh, I was unaware of that.
Right.
Or, well, how come this died? Well, it just did. So, yeah,
It just
really
did.
frustrating.
Right, yeah.
So,
All right.
Well, with 4,000 bill, how else could you do it?
well,
and
but they don't all go through Ways and
right,
Means.
not all go through. And actually, I've got one on my list.
Yeah, go
many?
ahead. Take it away.
How many do go through?
I don't know, a fraction.
For like a small percentage?
Yeah, not a ton of them. So yesterday, the Oregon, both bicameral Republican senators and representatives had a press conference calling for the withdrawal of the Oregon wildfire risk map. Prior to their press conference, Governor Kotek really put the brakes on it and said that they're going to continue to take appeals until the 10th of March, but she's going to put off any decisions until the legislature is done, and sine die is in the middle of June, and the date I heard was the earliest that anyone will act on those appeals is June 26th. So it'll be as we ramp up for fire season. And then Senator Golden, a little over a week ago, stood up on the Senate floor and said, and he was the crafter of Senate Bill 762, which was a landmark wildfire legislation, and said, we've got some issues with the map. He wasn't going to stand in the way of the, and I'm paraphrasing,
Yeah.
he wasn't going to stand in the way of the repeal of the map if that was what the body chose to do. So, which was a huge thing at that point.
So help us understand how does the map affect us one way or the other?
Well, it affects people locally because if you were in the high category and you were in the wildland urban interface, you got a letter from the state saying this is what the category of your property is, and they used the 4 criteria they used to make the map, and that was fuels, topography, burn interval, and I apologize, I can't remember the last one, and that's the category. And the issue that a lot of folks had was, okay, I'm doing fuels reduction on my property. How can I get mine moved out of high? No, this is what it is. You're not going to be able to change.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating to a lot of people. And then the other part that was frustrating was it was never, in my opinion, really ground truthed all that well. They didn't put people out to look at individual properties or even swaths of properties. And we've got one here in LeGrand that he's surrounded by medium, he's high, and his insurance company is in the process of dropping him. It says right in the legislation, it says right in the letter that they got, your insurance company cannot drop you because of the map. Well, the insurance companies are
They didn't
smart
get the
enough.
memo.
Well, they're smart enough to know that they're not going to say, hey, because of the map, we're dropping you.
Right.
But interestingly enough, they use that exact same four criteria on why they're dropping that individual.
So, yeah.
And part of it is, repeal the map, keep the map. I think it's too late. Damage has been done. Again, people are seeing incredible rates increases for their insurance. Some are in, not necessarily in our area, but other parts of the state that I've heard from other county commissioners is they'll be in partway through a sale of a piece of property and the buyers are going, no, I don't want to touch that. It's high and in the wooey. I'm not going to be able to get insurance for it. It's going to be problematic. So in turn, the property values are dropping on a lot of these properties. And I mean, this might be someone's life savings.
So we live out on the edge of Island City. We got one of those. We got a registered letter from the state, okay, and a registered packet, okay. We get the packet, and then one of the exceptions is if you go to the website and your property is exempted. So then we go to the website and it's exempted, and so then I'm like, Tanya and I vented back and forth. Is like, what? Whoever sent out this packet couldn't have figured out who to send the packets to. So, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
what does it cost? And it was funny because we got the packet from the mail person, and it was like 7:00 at night, and she was having to deliver all of that stuff. Just the delivery fee of a registered packet is probably $20, I would imagine. Yeah, and they're sending it to people that had somebody looked on the computer, they could have said, well, we really don't need to send this to them. I don't know.
Island city limits, correct?
Yeah.
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 Surrounded by irrigated farm fields.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah. Yeah.
Therein lies a lot of the problem. Is that it's there, and you asked. And this has been going on for a number of years.
Yeah.
And they backed off on the map 2 years ago. And you would ask the map makers questions, and they would say, "These are the 4 criteria we're using." So,
Right.
Questions like, "Are you looking at whether or not they've done field treatments, like I've already said?
Right.
Are you looking at whether or not this fire starts and goes unchecked, or is there a response? Your house, relatively close to a fire station,
Like a couple blocks.
and if it were in the wildland and you're really close to the airport to get air support on that thing.
Yeah.
None of that was taken into consideration. So that's a
crazy.
big frustration on it. So
So just one more thing before we go on. What is the point of the map, though? From the state level, what's the point? The point is to say, I don't know. Help me understand why was a map even needed to be initiated originally? Okay, thank you. All right.
Oh, actually, I can answer that. It was to identify properties that probably needed some sort of work, whether it's fuel reductions or fuel breaks or things like that.
Okay, got
but
it.
It is
To
fun.
increase awareness a little bit. Okay.
And the frustration for me is we've got what was, I thought, really good legislation. They took a good look at fire, all these different things. Some great things came out of Senate Bill 762. You look at the fleet of engines that is in Oregon now that can respond through the Oregon State Fire Marshal. Good. Was it incredibly expensive? Yes, it was. Yeah. But they also moved those strike teams all over the state. So there were
to other states.
True.
Yeah,
And as well
quite
as
often.
other states. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And other states come to Oregon too. So yeah, it was, I think, really good, thoughtful legislation, but the implementation fell short, especially on the map. And unintended consequences are one of the issues we're having with it. So,
All right. Well, hey, so what else you got on your list?
A week ago yesterday, and this is a reoccurring meeting, 6 or 7 Eastern Oregon County Commissioners sat down with the governor for a little over an hour. Nothing is off the table. We talked about her executive order on labor and the concerns we have for Eastern Oregon in that regard, and how it potentially is going to hurt local contractors. We did talk about the fire map. We talked about transportation funding. I personally talked about the child care initiative that I'm working on, and she was pretty excited about that until I said the one thing that I'm really struggling with is the volume of red tape. And I said, I understand that, when you're talking about taking the person's most valuable possession, gift, however you want to describe your child, and handing it off to another person, you want safeguards in place. But it's to the point where it's really stifling on how and what you can provide as far as child care. And her regional solutions person, Courtney Warner-Crowell from for this region, was there, and we talked afterwards, and we're gonna talk through that, and they're pretty excited about the initiative. So we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
Yeah. 779, agri-stress, one of Senator Nash's bills, and that's up for a hearing Thursday afternoon. And what that would do is set up an endowment to continue that program basically in perpetuity. And
This is explain what that program is.
agri-stress is a call-in number specifically designed for those in agriculture, natural resources, forestry, that are experiencing some sort of mental health crisis. Basically, for lack of a better description, it's a suicide hotline.
Okay.
Suicide prevention hotline. And obviously, there were never any names or anything like that, or even the part of the county, but I know for a fact that it has been used in Union County, and they were able to come to getting that person help, which if you save one life with this program, I think it's well worth it.
Yeah.
And I think I've talked about it before, is agriculture, natural resources has a disproportionate number of suicides compared to any other population.
And the support of that is the finances need to keep the program going.
Correct.
The
Yes.
people to call, or how does that?
To have personnel
Yeah.
answering the phone.
Okay.
And trained professionals
Right.
answering the phone and 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And like I say, I want to say it's been used in people from 26 of Oregon's 36 counties, so it is making an impact.
Are there people specially trained to help with farmers? And
Yes.
you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's it.
So it's
Yeah.
not just a general,
Right.
because some could be accomplished just by having this PR campaign
Right.
that funnels people to a general suicide hotline number.
Right.
But it doesn't.
988.
Right. But it doesn't. It goes beyond that.
It goes beyond that. These people are specifically trained or have life experiences in agriculture
Okay.
and natural resources.
So then, as they're talking to that person, they can relate in some manner.
Yes.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And as far as the awareness campaign, there is one billboard in the state of Oregon, and it's on 84 here in LeGrand, just along the freeway near the sale yard.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And Dr. Myers from Oregon State has been the one that really has been the leader on this, and she's really done some great work and continues to do great work for the people of rural Oregon in particular.
Cool.
It would be cool if one day the National Suicide Hotline could just be the hub, and it could just shoot out like, hey, we got a farm, like,
Right, yep.
You know what I mean? Like that would be.
That would be. Yep.
So then it's all just one number. You can call it, and they'll get you to somebody like, hey, we got a cop. Boom, send them over to this line. You know
Right.
what I mean? That would be awesome.
Right, it is. But I think the marketing benefit, for lack of a better term, is you don't. By having a campaign that specifically reaches after farmers and natural resource people, there's a little bit of acceptance in that.
taking the
there's
stigma away from it.
Right,
Yes,
yeah, that's
yes,
what I'm
certainly.
trying to say.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that's,
yeah.
yeah, and again, incredibly high rate of suicide among that specific population, so we've got a program that addresses that.
Awesome.
And is working well.
Cool. All righty.
Another bill of Senator Nash's that I testified on last week is 769, and a lot of folks called that the Cougar Bill, and I took exception to calling it a Cougar Bill. What it did is it allows counties, either by the county commission putting it on the ballot or the people putting it on by initiative, to vote on whether or not to allow to pursue cougars and bears with dogs.
Okay.
And to me, this analogy may not be exactly right, but it's a states' rights issue to me. I mean, can we decide in our area if that's something that we want to do? A lot of testimony. It was an hour and a half. There was some both pro and con, and then the written testimony. And I just got these numbers this morning. In favor of it, it was 826 letters and written testimony, and 544 against. By far the most input on writing of any bill in the legislature right now.
So that's just by county?
By county, yes.
For Union County?
Well, no.
Well, any one of the 36 could decide to do that.
Oh, and basically, so it would be like Union County would vote on whether or not you could hunt
Correct.
With dogs.
Correct.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people who don't understand, explain why hunting a cougar or bear is complicated without dogs.
Well, I can tell you, I mean, there's some numbers here, and the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife has a number that they think is the right number of whether it's deer or elk, and the deer in particular, mule deer, are way below that target number, and the cougars are give or take double what ODFW, and they tend to be a nocturnal animal. They tend to be pretty elusive, and then being able to use dogs, it adds a level of ability to pursue them more successfully.
I have a question. Why do they clump bears and cougars together? I don't understand that, because I'm all for hunting cougars with dogs to get them, but I'm not. I've done it, and I'm not for hunting bears with dogs.
I don't know.
Why? Because a bear is not a predatory animal. It's not I mean, a little bit, but not like a cougar. Bears aren't wiping out deer like cougar.
They are.
No, not the same amount, right?
Fawns in the springtime when they come out of hibernation.
Yeah.
The bears will follow the deer and the elk and eat fawns and calves.
Are they eating as much as the cougars though? Like, is it comparable?
That I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that I don't know. But yeah,
just know that
it tends to be a problem for the ungulates in the springtime when the bears.
That makes sense. I just think that like the whole like bear thing is like a little bit different than a cougar to me. Like, and I don't know why they clump it together.
Well, but the bottom line is that bears and cougars don't really have a predator. I mean, other than humans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah.
All right.
I think that's everything.
And so
on my list.
if that were passed, then what does that mean? Does that mean that we could have the county could have an initiative and decide, or what would be the next step? Then how does that go on?
There's a number of steps.
Yeah.
One is the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, because it's something that's passed by the legislature, would have to set up the parameters of it. Then at that point, the county, either by the three commissioners, could vote on whether or not to put it on the ballot, or for example, if for some reason the three commissioners in Union County decided they didn't want to do it, you could put a petition together and gather signatures just like anything else, put it on the ballot, and then the people of Union County would vote on it.
Got it. So then this bill just opens up the process for the public to vote on that.
And it's a choice by counties or the
Right.
people of the counties on whether or not
Yeah.
they even want to put it on the ballot. And then after that, then thumbs up, thumbs down on whether they want to allow or not.
And so how did it get to how it is now? I mean, why?
Oh,
yeah. Why doesn't the
excellent
county?
question.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent question. In 1994, Oregon's ballot measure initiative, they passed this. And when they did pass it in 1994, it went into effect, I want to, early 95, January 1, I don't know, but 95. And since then, almost every legislative session, there's been a bill addressing this. And this is the first time that there's been a hearing on it.
We got a question. Without the county commissioners stopping the forest revision that are currently being imposed on the people of Eastern Oregon, we will all be behind the gates. What are you doing to stop this as a county commissioner?
Well, part of it is I've been working on forest plan revision for 6 years, and I am personally opposed to any more road closures. I've been working through that process. One of the positives that's come out of it already, I'm reading through the document that is in draft form right now. It was presented to the commissioners a couple weeks ago, I want to say. And for me, a positive is the 3 forest supervisors have recommended no more wilderness areas, no more additional wilderness areas on the 3 forests, the Umatilla, the Wallowa-Whitman, and the Malheur.
That question was from Stephen Butcher. Thanks, Stephen.
So, and we did have and you and I did have an EO talks, I mean, it's probably been 6 months ago. Yeah. And I think we drilled down on some of those topics pretty carefully.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, Paul, thank you so much.
Appreciate being here.
Yeah. And appreciate the openness and you working this out in your schedule.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, and the other thing is OLIS, Oregon Legislative Information System, and just type in OLIS Oregon in Google, and it gives you all access to all the legislators, all the bills. It gives you you can sign up for notifications on when the hearings are on that. So there's a lot of information there. Easy to go down rabbit holes on a lot of different subjects, but like I say, you can watch the testimony. You're hearing exactly the same thing the legislators are hearing.
I just linked it in the comments.
So it was kind of interesting. When I peeked in on some of those things, it looks kind of like a small room where they're having testimony. Is that because, I mean, do they have, I've never been there. And so do they have, the committees must, I mean, it looks like a chamber the size of our, LeGrand City Hall. I mean, it's fairly small.
Oh, I would say it's probably, 3 times the size of that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Kind of like a
and the
little
dais
theater.
is up front, and then there's chairs, and they've got the legislative assistants on either side, and they've got camera folks. Oh, and American Sign Language is always going on.
And it's, I don't know why, but I always kind of pictured it like in the main chambers where, and that's not it. They have a separate place for committees to meet and stuff.
Yep, the committee rooms are, and very accessible. I mean, you sign up for testimony, they call, and if it's your very first time, they'll be very patient with you.
Yeah. And you can zoom in also?
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
On any single hearing or work session, you can, it's Teams, but
Yeah,
you can.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
All righty. Well, hey, thank you, Paul.
You bet.
Thank you.
We
Thank
appreciate it a bunch. All right. Well, we'll be right back with Kenn Wheeler.
Eastern Oregon is full of interesting people, with interesting minds and interesting things to say. Here at EO Live, we're committed to connecting you to these intriguing people with EO Talks. We let our special guests share their ideas and life experiences with deep, open, engaging, and inquisitive conversations. You'll also be informed in depth on some of the most recent and relevant events, issues, and more. EO Talks on EO Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku. Here in Eastern Oregon, we're blessed to live in such a wonderful area. And though it may seem mild-mannered, there's actually quite a lot that goes on in this area. And apparently, there's two dinguses who happen to be here that are actually crazy enough to get up at the crack of dawn to talk about it. Tune into AM Live on EOA with Brent and Dodsey, featuring special guests, weather, sports, news, and more, every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m., only on EOA Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku.
Before midnight, my wife and I, but I went to bed early last night.
Here we go. All right, we are back with Kenn Wheeler. I think it's associate professor, right?
Yes, that's
associate
right.
professor of theater at Eastern Oregon University. Yeah.
Yes.
And you've been there a while.
This is my 23rd year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have been here. This is the longest I've ever been at a school.
Well, and when did you move to LeGrand?
We moved to LeGrand in 2002.
Okay.
I was teaching at Treasure Valley Community College.
All right.
Down in Ontario, and we had sent several of our students from there up to here to go to school, and they found out that there was going to be an opening, so they let me know, and I applied, and that was 23 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and you and I have talked many times. We were in My Fair Lady together,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you've probably been in 30 shows since then. And for me it was, so it's kind of a mark on my soul, but you've done so many.
I
and
have.
And it was just such a pleasure to work with you in that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was great fun. I enjoy it. I'll go sometimes a little while not being in a show and just directing, and then I'll get the acting bug and I'll be back and be on stage again. So right now it's about directing. So, yeah.
And so tell us what's happening. What's going on?
Well, this spring in May we'll be presenting probably the first really big show since COVID.
Okay.
Even our musicals that we've done since then have been small cast musicals. But we're doing Fiddler on the Roof. We wanted to do something that everyone had heard about. And so we decided that would be a good one to do, just to say we're back. You know, COVID just destroyed our theater program, and so we're growing back and we're doing a show. And normally when we do shows that have this huge of a cast, we open it up to the community. We don't just limit it to the college students.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and so why now? Why a big show now? Just because you're feeling like
it's time to do one. It's time to do something bigger. It's time to prove that we can.
Yeah.
So
now, and I was so the folks from the music department, they just did their big thing.
Yes,
there.
they did.
And I think that was the first time that I have been in the theater since you guys have remodeled the lighting and the sound and the chairs.
Yep. It's all relatively new. It's been 2 or 3 years since we've had the remodel done.
Yeah. And in fact, it seems like that happened kind of in the middle of COVID, right?
It did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, but I mean, the lighting was just...
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, we've been updated and gotten the state of the art, the latest lighting equipment and lighting boards and those kinds of things.
And the soundboard is now actually in the sound field. Before it was, it was clear up in the rafters, and so I mean, there's just a lot of good things that have been done from a theater standpoint.
Absolutely.
Are you excited about doing a big show with some of those?
Yeah, I think this is the first show I've done in the big space in Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Since COVID.
Since the remodel.
Yeah, it'll be nice. Since the remodel, right.
Yeah, because you did, in fact, I saw one that you did, the last time you were here, we promoted in the smaller
In
theater.
the small theater,
Yeah.
right? She Loves Me.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the musical for last year.
Yeah, and that was super.
Yeah.
I mean, really enjoyed that. It
Yeah,
was-
and what's great is we have a lot of the same talent.
Right.
We've graduated a couple of students, but we'll have most of those students back again, and so we'll have them as well as community members on stage.
So then, kind of the meat and potatoes cast is probably from the department.
For the most part,
Yeah, okay.
we
But you're
try we try to cast age appropriate as we can.
right.
It's always better to have actors of the proper age playing
Right.
the different roles.
Right.
But yeah, this show has a lot of young roles, so young adult roles, and
Yeah.
so we'll have most of our students will be playing those roles.
Okay.
But there are a couple of older roles. I mean, obviously Tevye and Golda can be older adults. I mean, they can be. The last time I directed it, I cast a student as Tevye.
Yeah.
Because he was an older student. He was kind of a non-traditional student.
Yeah.
But that will probably be most of the children and the children's suitors and the daughters. Those will be the college students, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then at this point, you're looking at the community. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, tell us about the opportunity for the community to be involved.
Well, I thought it would be really interesting because, like I said, the last time I directed it was 2003, I believe. And we had one entire family that decided they wanted to do the show. It was one of the college professors and her husband and their two sons. And they were in the show, and the show is all about family and that kind of thing. And so they had an awesome experience, coming to the show, being in the show together, being able to be on stage together as a family. When we start singing about families, it was really a good experience for them. And so I thought this would be a fun thing to do, to specifically open the show up to entire families. If families want to be in the show, if they want to just be in the chorus as a family, they can do that. If they want to audition for some of the speaking or singing roles, as well as have their family in it, they can do that. And we're looking for any age of families, whether they're young families just starting out or older families. I just think that the experience of being on stage as a family is
Super unique.
It's unique, and it's an opportunity to do something as a family.
Right.
And we're looking for that so much in today's society.
Well, and then also just makes it really convenient for rehearsals.
Yes, it does.
Because you're not having to find babysitters or whatever the case might be.
that's always an added bonus.
Yeah.
You don't have to go pick up your kids at the show or go,
Right.
pick up your kids at the babysitter because they're there with you. And part of what I'm planning on doing is I'm changing the rehearsal process a little bit. Usually in a musical with a chorus, you start off by teaching the chorus music at the very beginning, and then you work into the solos and duets and that kind of thing. And staging is kind of the same. You stage the big numbers first, and then you work to stage the smaller numbers. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to wait to stage the bigger numbers so that the amount of time that's involved for families will be more limited. So we'll probably have them come in, start staging the big numbers about 3 weeks before the show opens. And that way, they'll have just a little bit more than 3 weeks of a commitment.
Oh.
It's not going to be like an 8-week commitment. I mean, there will be some.
Right.
We have, when we read through the first time, we have everyone there, and that's kind of the fun of it. But when it comes to staging and that kind of thing, it'll be more compact for the families.
So when are you hoping to start when are the auditions and
Our auditions are officially March 7th, so in about 2.5 weeks. And anyone who wants to be considered for a speaking role or a singing role needs to audition individually. But if someone wants to just be in the show with their family, they can just call me and we'll talk and we'll set up a time where I can listen to everyone to make sure that everyone's going to be able to, to contribute
Right.
in the family. And even if they're not, even, if you've got kids who are not excited about singing, they can still be in the show.
Right.
Because they're going to be part of the ensemble, and it won't be as required, it won't be as demanding on them. So yeah, so if people want to contact me and I see our information's up, that's my office phone number, 962-3318, and then you can email me at kwheeler@eou.edu, and then I can contact you and we can talk about it.
Cool.
I mean, the last time I did this show, we had 64 people in the cast. I mean, it's that type of show. You're doing the little village of Anatevka. So, if you have that many people in the little village, you can portray it that way. And so if we end up with that many, that would be great. You can do the show with 30, 35 people as well. But the more the merrier.
Right.
We actually even have 2 costumers. Heather Tomlinson, who is the costume professor, will be costuming all the leads. And then my wife, Denise Wheeler, will be costuming all the chorus.
Oh, cool.
Because we've done the show, I've done this show, this will be the 8th time I've done it.
Okay.
We've collected a bunch of skirts and a bunch of blouses and a bunch of prayer shawls that we made for the last production. So she's going to be doing all the chorus members, and then Heather's going to be doing the main characters.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds cool.
So please
Yeah.
contact me if you're interested, or if you have even if you have questions, give me a call or send me an email, and I'll contact you, and we can talk about your being part of this. I think it would be something that a family would remember.
Right.
It's like a special vacation that you always remember.
No,
But, yeah.
that's cool, and I'll keep my ears open to see if there would. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Ken, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the
Exciting.
show is May 14th through the 17th.
Okay.
So yeah, and it is in the large theater, in the Mackenzie Theater. So
All right.
yeah,
Cool.
excellent.
All right. You want to get us out of here?
Let's do it. On this day, February 18th, 1834, the first U.S. labor newspaper, The Man, is published in New York City. 1879, French sculptor, I'm not even going to try to say his first name, Bartholdi is awarded a U.S. patent for his design for the Statue of Liberty. 1885, on this day, Mark Twain publishes The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn in the United States. 1986, on this day, anti-smoking ad airs for the first time on TV, featuring Yul Brynner, who incidentally died of smoking-induced lung cancer on the 10th of October, 1985. 2001, FBI agent Robert Hansen is arrested for spying for the Soviet Union. He is ultimately convicted and sentenced to life in prison, where he ends up dying. 2020, on this day, Boy Scouts of America files for bankruptcy amid hundreds of sexual abuse lawsuits, suspending those claims. On this day, the #1 song in America in 1995, and man, I remember this video, Take a Bow, Madonna. And then on this, the quote for the day comes from JFK. We must use time as a tool, not as a couch. One more time. We must use time as a tool, not as a couch.
All right.
That's all
Good
she
stuff.
wrote. Yeah, we'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you,
Thank
Ken.
you. Thank you.
See you soon.